in brisk breezes, the ship fair flew along, ploughing the storm-tossed ocean, until at last the shadow of land along the horizon became the rearing cliffs and capes of Denmark. Soon, Beowulf and his ring-mailed thanes were leaping ashore, each one thanking God most fervently for his safe arrival. From the cliff high above them, Hrothgar's startled watchman saw the men land, and wondered who they were, whether friend or foe. He rode down to the beach straight away and challenged them at the point of his spear. "Who are you, strangers? Where do you come from? I see you dressed and armed as warriors, ready for battle. In all my years patrolling this coast, no one has landed more openly. You do not come like thieves in the night, and your faces speak of me of some honest purpose. And I can plainly see that your prince, who stands head and shoulders higher than the rest of you, has the look of a hero about him, of great nobility and grace. Yet you are not known to us. Certainly Hrothgar has had no warning of your coming. So tell me your names, and declare your intent frankly, so that I may know whether to let you pass or not." Beowulf spoke up to them, opening his heart honestly to the Danish coastguard. "We have come here from my lord Hygelac, king of the Geats, your ally and your good friend. All the world knows of the piteous misfortune that has befallen this land, of that marauding monster Grendel, and of all his murderous massacres. We have come here to destroy him if we can. So lead us to Hrothgar, that great and glorious guardian of his people. Take us to Heorot, to the heart of his kingdom, and take us there as fast as possible. There is no time to lose." "You sound to me and look to me like a man of your word," replied the coastguard. "So accepting in all good faith, I'll bring ye myself to Heorot, to my lord Hrothgar, who will, I know, rejoice at your coming. Meanwhile, while you are gone on your great and noble quest, my men will see to it that your ship is well guarded." So, in war dress of chainmail shirts, carrying their long ashen spears and great war shields, Beowulf and his warriors left their ship anchored fast in the lee of the cliff and marched inland, their helmets gleaming bright in the afternoon sun. Strong helmets that would surely protect them against the worst any enemy could do, or so they thought. On they went, until they saw at last in the distance Hrothgar's home, Heorot, that glorious palace adorned with glowing gold, a house fit for any king on earth. Here the coastguard left them, pointing the way. "I must return to resume my watch for sea raiders," he said. "May the God we all love protect you in all you do, wherever you go, and bring you safely back to your ship again, and back to your hearth and home." Weary now from their long sea journey, Beowulf and his warband made their way up the stone path towards the great hall of Heorot, where they were greeted at the gate by Wulfgar, Hrothgar's herald. "Lay aside your shields and spears," he commanded them. "Stack them against the wall, for you will have no need of them inside. I see friendship in your eyes, nobility in your bearing, and I know that we have nothing to fear from you. But tell me who you are, and what you've come for, dressed as you are for war." "I am Beowulf, king of the Geats, nephew of Hygelac the king, and if you would gladly allow us to speak face to face with Hrothgar, your gracious king, we will explain to him in full the purpose of our sea-tossed journey to the land of Denmark." Wulfgar the herald was as wise in judgment as he was fierce in war, and led them at once into Heorot to meet Hrothgar, his beloved master, grey-haired now with sorrowing. "These men, grim though they may look in their mail armour, have come in peace, I am sure of it, my king," Wulfgar declared before the king and his thanes. "Chief among them, and the renowned prince of the Geats, is the noble Beowulf, nephew of Hygelac, your friend and ally of a lifetime. Such a trusty man can only have come to help us, I think." Sudden hope warmed the old king's heart as he looked upon Beowulf standing there before him. "You will not remember me," he said. "I knew you once as a child, when I came to the land of the Geats. Ever since then, the Geats have been my lifelong friends and allies. You are most heartily welcome to Heorot, for I know of you by hearsay also. Everyone here does. I heard tell that you possess the strength of at least 30 men, in each hand. I am thinking, and I am hoping, and I am praying that you may have been sent to us by God himself as our salvation to stand against Grendel, that fiend of the night. Perhaps, Beowulf, it is only you that has the power to deal the monster the death blow we long for, the end he so richly deserves. Mighty in his ring-meshed mail and gloriously helmed in silver, Beowulf stood tall before Hrothgar and his thanes, every one of them praying too that this man would indeed prove to be their earthly redeemer, their strong avenger. They listened well as he spoke. I have come, great king of the Danes, Beowulf began, as Hygelac's hearth-kingsman, and in his name. I am here to serve you, as I have served him in many a battle. All the Geats have heard of your plight, of this evil Grendel, who, after the shadows fall, prowls this hall, making of it his nightly lair. From seafarers and travellers, we have learned how each night this most splendid of mead halls must be surrendered to Grendel, the night stalker. How he preys foully on your people, eating their flesh, drinking their blood. I am no poet, my lord king, nor a harp player. I am a fighter. I am known at home and wherever I go as a warrior prince, as an enemy of all evil. I have only last year dealt death to 5 giants who threatened our land, broken their necks with my bare hands. I did the same to dozens of sea serpents who plagued our waters. If I could do that much, I thought, then I could go over the sea to you, great Hrothgar, and offer to rid you of Grendel, this vile and loathsome destroyer. Why, I thought, should I not face him in a trial of strength and destroy the destroyer? So I stand here in Heorot, your kingly hall and home, with my good companions, ready and willing to serve you. All of us are strong and steadfast in our determination to drive out this evil once and for all, to bring peace and joy again to your kingdom and restore you at last to your rightful hearth. Be assured, I shall do all that is in my power to achieve this. It is my promise. All their long lingering sorrow was banished, as Hrothgar and his thanes listened to Beowulf's brave words, and, looking upon him, no one there doubted for one moment that Beowulf could achieve and would achieve all that he promised. I have heard, Beowulf went on, that Grendel never carries a weapon, no war axe, no sword on his murderous missions. Well then, neither will I. I will carry no shield, nor wear any armour. I shall go up against this beast bareheaded, just as I fought giants and sea serpents. With my bare hands I shall grapple with this foul fiend and fight him to the death. Whichever of us dies must face the Lord of Judgment, as we all must when the time comes. I ask only that, should the worst befall me, send to Hygelac my king this battle shirt of chainmail I now wear. There will, I fear, be nothing of us left to bury, should this flesh-eating monster prevail over us. In that case, from all I hear, he would carry off our bloody corpses to his unlovely larder and feast on us, as he had on so many brave men before us. But God willing, it will not turn out like that. Hrothgar arose slowly to his feet. You cannot imagine what joy you bring us in coming here to Heorot, he cried. For me, and for all of Denmark, it is truly a blessed and timely arrival. You shall, I promise you, be well rewarded for your kindness, your concern for us, and your great courage. We have been for 12 long years a people in pain, with nothing but fear and hate in our hearts. Sadly, my hall and hearth companions have been sorely dwindled in numbers by the ravages of this ruthless killer. So many have tried to stand against him, their courage whetted by beer. Each roared his defiance, boasting, ale cup in hand, that he would wait here in Heorot after nightfall and tear the evil one limb from limb when he came. But when morning came, it was always the same gruesome story. Heorot had become a slaughterhouse yet again, the walls blood spattered and the floors blood soaked, and my dear brave kingsmen, all gone as meat to the monster's lair. But none of these was as mighty a warrior as you, Beowulf. They had courage in full measure, but not the strength. You have both, so bring your men, sit down, eat with us and drink with us. Tell us the stories of your great exploits, for just to hear of them would fill our hearts with new hope and happiness. Then a space was cleared at the banqueting table for Beowulf and his Geats, and the horn of sweet mead was passed around from Geat to Dane and Dane to Geat. That evening the poet stood and sang his words, and the harp played softly, and the lilting lute and laughter echoed once again through the rafters of Heorot. There were, it was true, some envious looks cast as Beowulf and his Geatish warriors, and some envious words too. Amongst the Danish thanes, a few did not care to be outshone in this manner, and felt their honour threatened. Some challenged Beowulf openly, questioning his proud claim that he would succeed in this fight where they had not, especially, they said, if he faced up to Grendel unarmed as he had proposed he would. Stung at these insults, Beowulf spoke up strongly in his own defence. Do not worry yourselves on our account. We'll show this monster Grendel strength, courage, and a firmness of purpose he has never met before. Just because you have failed, don't imagine for one moment we shall do the same. We are made of sterner stuff than you think. Mark my words. By daylight, the reign of this terror tyrant will be over. We have come to do this, and with God's help, we shall achieve it. The more Hrothgar heard, that kind and generous king, that great father, protector and shepherd of all the Danes, the more he hoped and then believed that Beowulf could better the beast that night. Doubts disappeared, and all envy too, as the harp music rose to the rafters, and laughter echoed once more about the great mead hall. Bearing the precious treasure cup, Hrothgar's queen came now to Heorot to meet these Geatish heroes, to greet and honour them. But to the peerless Hrothgar, her husband and her beloved, she offered the treasure cup first, and afterwards gave the cup to each of them, irrespective of age or rank, for she was always gracious and kind to all. Then to Beowulf she came, glittering in her regal beauty, her arm rings glowing gloriously. Offering him the cup, she thanked him warmly, and the good Lord who had sent him for coming so nobly to their aid. Accepting the treasure cup, and her thanks most graciously, Beowulf rose to speak. We have come here, my lady, rowed and sailed our way across the surging seas, for one reason, to carry out the wishes of great Hrothgar, your husband, and king, and our friend and perfect ally, to accomplish the death of this Grendel, and end forever the terror that stalks this place and all your people, or to fail in the attempt and so meet our end. No words had ever sounded sweeter to this lady, this splendid queen of the Danes. The poet sang then of victory to come, of the foul fiend destroyed and evil banished, and Geat and Dane alike raised their rousing voices, till all Heorot resounded once more to the ringing rafters. But now, as he looked out, Hrothgar saw the shadows lengthening and knew that the time was coming to quit the hall. He knew, as they all did, that outside in the falling dark which would very soon drown the world, the dreaded monster was leaving his lair again, was already gliding through the brooding shadows towards Heorot. Hrothgar and Beowulf, great heroes both, saluted one another in love, and in parting, Hrothgar spoke his last words. I now hand over Heorot to you, brave Beowulf, to have and to hold through this night. Guard it well. I know that in the fight to come, you will stretch every sinew, summon up all the strength and all the courage you possess. In return, should you survive and the beast be destroyed, I promise before everyone here, I will show you more generosity than a king ever showed before to any man. So saying, Hrothgar and his queen led the Danes from the hall. Only Beowulf and his Geatish thanes remained, charged now with the safety of the kingdom. "The time is soon coming, so let each of us put our trust in God," said Beowulf to his men, "but in our strength and fighting skills also. Do this, and we shall not fail." And with that, he took off his coat of mail and his helmet, as he had vowed to do. He unbuckled his war sword too, and then gave all his armour and weapons to his faithful attendant. Before going to their beds, the Geats gathered together one last time, set forehead to forehead, drinking deep of one another's courage, fiercer now than ever in their fiery determination. "We ask the Lord to bless our endeavours tonight," Beowulf whispered. "Remember, we fight this fight in his name. It would be easy to come at the beast with weapons, but I shall cut short this monster's life with my own God-given strength. Let God choose which of us shall triumph, and we have no fear of losing. Believe that, my friends, and we shall win." So Beowulf went to his bed, and his men too, but in truth they slept only fitfully. For there was not one of them, not Beowulf himself even, who could be certain how the night would end, whether any of them would ever again see the light of dawn. They knew well enough how many brave Danes this Grendel creature had dragged lifeless and bleeding from Heorot, how unlikely it was that some, or all of them, would ever see their hearth and home. In silent prayer, each of them placed his life in the hands of his almighty Maker, who had from the very beginning ruled supreme in all the affairs of men. Up from his lair and through the shadows came Grendel, this stalker of the night, while in Heorot the warriors lay, turn-tossed in their sleep, only one of them left on ever watchful guard, every moment steeling himself for the ordeal of battle he knew must very soon come. And it was coming too. Grendel came gliding through swirling moorland cloud mists, death dealing in his hate-filled heart, thirsting to kill again that night as he had so often before. Down from the forest came Grendel now, saw the mead house, scented the sweet flesh of those inside. Easy victims, as easy as before, he thought. Had the monster known what awaited him there, he would most surely have thought twice, slunk back to his lair and never returned, for this would be the last time the beast was ever to go out on a killing spree. Never more would the terror tyrant stalk the land. Now it was his turn to suffer the panic of fear and the pain of death agony. So the giver of death and destruction would become the receiver at last. He did not know it yet, though, and came unawares to Heorot. Rage-racked, on wreckage bent, Grendel ripped open the iron-studded doors. They were no hindrance to him. He scanned the dark hall through fire-blazing eyes, saw the slumbering thanes still drowsy in sleep, the solitary, startled sentry, the whole warband. Rejoicing at the prospect of another flesh feast, this vile and vengeful creature laughed out loud at his good fortune. He would tear each and every one of them to pieces, stain Heorot's floor once more with the lifeblood. A night of gore and gluttonous pleasure lay ahead of him, or so it seemed. And so it began too, as he snatched up the first Geatish sentry he saw. Hansio he was called, and simply tore him apart, bolting his flesh in great gobbets, gnawing and gnashing on his bones, stripping the meat, sucking the veins until, in moments, nothing of the poor helpless man was left, not a hair of his head, not a hand, not a foot, not even a nail.